This is not an anti-vote video. All right, this is not a video about voting or not voting. It's not an anti-vote video. Okay, this video actually we're not dealing with the real presidential race right now. We're actually dealing with something I consider, in my opinion, to be more important, which is our health and how we're going to vote as pertains how we're going to move forward for the remainder of this year, next year, and just life in general. All right. So this is not an anti-vote video or a pro-vote video. I believe people have the right to do either or. This video would not have anything to do with any of the candidates. Once again, I personally, I don't care who people are voting for. That's just me personally. What I intend to do with this video tonight is to make an attempt to get people to transfer the energy that they have around voting to another election that I feel, once again, is way more important. And this election is the health election 2020. All right. So I really appreciate the energy, the passion, the exuberance around people exercising their right to vote. I think it's great. I think it's great that people feel so passionate about certain candidates based on, their leadership abilities, based on their policies. That's great. Go ahead. You know what I'm saying? But here's what I don't appreciate. All right. I don't appreciate when I sit back and I watch how we as a community respond. Okay. And what I mean by that is that a lot of times I get the feeling that many of us are being controlled and guided, and in some cases I would say misguided, on things that are important. I wonder, the people or the media or who and whatever it is that are telling us what is important for our community truly has our best interests in mind, or even if they are actually coming from our community. I question a lot of those things because once again, I see the on-off switch when it comes to our energy, the compassion, just the dedication to certain things. And, if you're on social media, you've seen it plenty of times before where 1 week it is this thing and the whole entire community is all around it. It's extremely popular. Videos are going viral. Things are being sent. We're going to fight. And then that week is over and that issue is almost like it never happened. It's like it's never happened. And then a week after that, something else happened. Somebody said something, an event occurred, and then it's like the energy just goes full throttle, and then it dies down and then disappears. And so I wonder a lot of time, who's really controlling our overall, our community priority as pertains to issues that really need to be addressed. All right. So like I said, in some cases, I would say that we're being misguided, deceived, and maybe we shouldn't really be looking to have this mass guidance. I have a lot to say on that, but I'll just kind of keep that part brief. So let me tell you what made me think about this in general. Like I said, I had the bike ride, but this is kind of like a thought that I've been having for a little while now. As far as like looking, we're going to be talking about health election 2020, right? And so there's a term called body politics. And essentially, this is like a way of looking at the body as a government. And so I took it multiple steps further to where, essentially the cells are actually the people. And so we're going to make a lot of parallels to what we see in actual government, like, outside physical world, to what we actually have and deal with in our bodies, as far as, the cells and the organ systems and the actual overall health, and also the different organ systems themselves. So, but let me tell you one of the things that kind of like triggered this. So I've been working at the office that I'm working at for the past going on 7 years. It's been a while. Let me click back over, y'all. Hold on real quick. Yeah, so I've been working at the current office that I'm working at for it's going on 7 years. And it never fails. Every election cycle, in the plaza right next to the office, there is this older black woman who is out there hustling her behind off. Now, you know, you have like of course the big elections, the presidential elections, but then you also have like the elections that happen every 2 years. But then you also have like, you know, certain elections that are happening in your county based on like, you know, policies and city and everything like that. And so I always see her out there. If there's an election going on, I know because I see her out in the parking lot and she's hustling her behind off. She's getting people to sign things and salute and shout out, because I'm always happy to see people passionate about something, right? And now let me tell you something is, I talked about this lady once before, and somebody reached out to me because, you know, I stay in Orlando, and this lady's pretty, you know, well known, and they said they knew her as well too. But one of the things I don't appreciate with this sister is that she's very, very aggressive and rude. You know, like, hey, this and this and that. You need to this and this and that. You need to, you know, and it's like, yo, chill. What's up, sis? Like, what's going on? This and this and that. And at first, this is a sidebar right here. At first, you know, I just chalked it up to her just being, you know, passionate about what she's doing, and maybe a little bit frustrated with like our demographics overall. But she does not have that energy when I see her talking to white folks, and so that's why I'm like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's just, oh, you just think you can talk to me that way. So, anyways, back to the story. Now, like I said, I've been at this office for, you know, going on 7 years, and I'm gonna tell you, unfortunately, I've been seeing this lady multiple times a year, every single year, and unfortunately, I've been watching her health decline, just decline, to the point where when I saw her this year. So we didn't actually bump into each other again this year, but if we did, I would have definitely brought up her health, because she seems very uncomfortable. I was watching the way she was moving. She seemed like she was having great difficulty really moving around the parking lot. You know, she was wearing a mask as well too, so that wasn't helping her with her breathing. And I'm looking at her, and that made me think. I was like, man, you know, all of that energy and all of that, you know, dedication to the voting, which is great, you know, if that's what you're passionate about, but somehow it's not transferring over to the most important thing, which is your health. Because if you're not healthy, you can't do a lot of things. Like, you're limited if you're not healthy. If you're not able to walk, you know, go long distance without, you know, having shortness of breath, having, you know, pain in your foot, your ankles, your back, you know, all these things. You're carrying excess weight. It's more on your knees, like just all these things. And so I saw this and it hurt me, it bothered me, it pained me. And but it's not just with her, right? It's not just with her. And mind you, I'm not taking myself out of everything whatever we're talking about tonight. I include myself into these issues as well too, because trust me, I'm not perfect, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm perfect. But you know, when I see that lady in the parking lot, I also see that in many of us, you know, whether we're talking about my family, you know, people I know, friends, you know, workers, you know, whoever, where we display like high amounts of energy and exuberance about outside politics, but there's like just dramatic drop off when it comes to our own body politics. There's a huge drop off when it comes to our own health. The energy and the focus and the attention, the detail, and just the back and forth and the argument outside of us. But on the inside, where once again, I truly feel that it matters more, there's this just huge drop off. And so we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about that tonight. And this is what I call Health Election 2020. All right. You see, people have these slogans like, you know, vote or die, vote like your life depends on it. And then you also have, you know, get your booty to the poll, right? And so what I want to do is I want to juxtapose these slogans to the health elections, because, you know, when we're talking about the health elections, vote or die, it truly means like if you don't vote and put the right person in charge of your health, you literally could die, or at least suffer a great deal before dying. If you don't vote for the right person, you know, you are literally voting like your life depends on it, because your life actually depends on it. Now, with the whole get your booty to the polls, I don't really know how to juxtapose that one. All right. So let me just make sure that everybody is still with me. Everybody, y'all here? Y'all following me? What's going on? What's going on? All right, good. Yo, Ty, what's going on, brother? Yeah, man, I didn't realize that was you. I've seen your name plenty of times, but I thought you were my cousin, because I have a cousin, Ty Evans, but from Beaufort, South Carolina, and I just thought you were my cousin from South Carolina. Um, Evans, man, we got a lot of Evans in the family. You might be fam, cuz you might be fam, man. What's going on, Leslie? Keisha, what's going on? Jonah, Joan, what's going on? Katrina, peace. All right, so I just want to make sure everybody's still following along. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just talk about, just the purpose of voting and elections in general, and then I'm going to show you how this whole scenario is going to run. I'm not going to keep y'all too long, but I want to get several points across. Okay, so when we talk about the purpose of an election, when we're talking about an actual election or to elect, this is when people are choosing someone to hold office or some other position. Now, when we're talking about the people, of course, in government, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about us. Like, we're actually choosing a candidate that we want to hold office to make certain decisions for our overall country. Now, when we're talking about the Healthy Elections 2020, the people are actually the cells. And so in the real world, the people, there's like 300 to 350 million Americans in this country. However, in our body, there is, roughly 37 trillion to 100 trillion cells in our body. There's a huge gap. Like some say 37 trillion, some say 100 trillion. Apparently, the census forms are being, inaccurately reported. But there's trillions, and a trillion is a lot. All right, and so an election is essentially a way for people to actually choose their candidate. So tonight, we're going to have the election for the cells to choose their candidate. Okay, when people are voting, they are usually voting on people to be placed in positions to address issues that matter to them most. Right, and so tonight, the cells are going to be voting for a candidate to sit in a position to address issues that matters to them the most. Um, you know, um, these issues, you may have some people who want to see these issues remain the same, or some people may actually want to improve these issues or radically change and reform these issues. Okay, so just like with people, the cells are going to look at the current environment, the current health, and then vote in their interest, because these cells, just like the people and just like you want a better country for yourself. You want a better environment, neighborhood, community for yourself. Well, the cells also want a better community, environment, and body for the cell, and also the lineage of cells to come behind it. Okay, so we have the election cycle. It comes every 4 years, and then we also have like elections that happen every 2 years, and sometimes every year. It seems like when it comes to the healthy election, these are elections that come around during New Year's, right? Every New Year, people are coming up with New Year resolutions. A lot of them deal with something pertaining to health. And then the next election you might see is like around summer, because people are trying to get snatched for the summer, right? So here's how this one's going to go. The title of this video is the most important election no one is talking about. And I want to know, will you vote, and who will you elect? The subtitle is Civil War versus Cellular War, because right now, when we look outside in our real country with this big election going on right now, what's like the one of the biggest fears that people have on their mind right now? One of the biggest concerns that people have, or that is being pushed, is a potential civil war, right? So people are very concerned about a civil war, and this is when the people fight the people. One group, one side of people fight the other side of people. That's what people are worried about, and it may happen, it may not happen. We'll see. However, for a lot of us, we are in the midst of a cellular war, where you have healthy cells trying its best to fight unhealthy cells, cancerous cells, dysfunctional, deranged cells, and so unfortunately for a lot of us, whether you know it or not, we've been losing that war as far as being healthy. And unfortunately, well, fortunately, you can actually track that metric and track and see how well the war or how bad the war has been going. So there's certain metrics you can track, right? Once again, these metrics should not be demonized, but there are certain metrics we can track. So one of the metrics can be your weight, right? If you're not purposely trying to gain weight, but you are gaining weight, then that would be a metric to let you know how the war is going, right? If one of the metrics can be your blood pressure. If you are increasing your blood pressure, and we tell you that blood pressure is a sign of something unhealthy going on in the body, an unhealthy process, then that is also another way how you can measure how this war is going. Same thing with blood sugar, same thing with cholesterol, same thing with inflammation. Like there's multiple metrics that we can use to see how this cellular war is going. And for a lot of us, we would have to confess that it's not going our way. All right. And so that's what we want to make sure we change tonight. So now this is where we talk about how this all is going to go, right? So we're going to do a little bit of role playing. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually, I want you to picture, y'all remember that movie with Chris Rock and he was inside this person's body? Like I think he was like a virus, so he was trying to kill a virus. I can't remember the name of the movie. I'm sure someone knows the name of the movie. If you know the name of the movie, let me know. That was a really good movie, by the way. I really liked that movie. But Chris Rock was a detective playing like a white blood cell, I think he was. And so I want you to kind of put yourself in that, mindset where there is actually a presidential debate going on inside of you. This presidential debate can be going on right here in your brain. And so I want you to picture a podium, two podiums set up. You got one podium on the right side, another one on the left side. I want you to picture the American backdrop, like the flag and rockets and the eagles in the background. I want you to picture you got a moderator right there, sitting ready to moderate. And then I want you to picture that in your body, in your mind, you have people out there in the stands, waiting to hear what their candidates have to say. And the people, once again, are trillions of cells. All right? Everybody, I want you to picture that. Go ahead and picture that. Osmosis Jones. Appreciate that, Renee. Osmosis Jones. That's a really good movie. I like it. I have my daughter watch it, and they'll most likely watch it again. So everybody, I want y'all to picture that, all right? Presidential debate is about to go down right now inside your brain. We have the podium, we have the backdrop, the egos, like it's about to go down. And I am going to represent the personification of the alternative version of you running for president of your health. So I'm going to be the candidate standing at the podium, making my case to become president of health for your body. All right. On the other side is going to be the sitting president. All right. Now, for a lot of people, so for some people, this may not, just kind of go along with it. For some people, this may not really, apply to you, but still go along with it because it may apply to a lot of us. All right. So I am actually going to role play right now. I'm going to really sit here and act like I'm a presidential candidate. And I'm going to talk that talk, all right? So let me get into my role play. Let me make sure everybody follow me real quick. Y'all good? Y'all good? Yo, Amari, what's good, bro? Y'all good? All right, I'm about to role play real quick. And y'all bear with me. I literally just kind of popped this thing in my head, and I just wanted to make sure I got it out here. All right, so I am going into my role. Tonight, this will unfortunately be a one-sided debate because your current president is so cocky, arrogant, and self-absorbed that they decided not to show up to this debate. Your sitting president fully expects to win this election based on the fact that he or she has won for the past 30, 40, 50 years or more all while providing little to no results. And I want you all to ask yourself, as I look out into the crowd and I see the trillions of cells waiting to elect their new president, waiting to elect their new leader, I want you to ask yourself, are you going to allow this disrespect to continue? Your sitting president did not have the decency to even show up to this debate tonight to present his or her case on why he or she should continue to be in charge of your overall health. So, all right, so now I'm out of character. So now I got to play moderator as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to be going down the list. We'll be going down the list and we'll be talking about policies and issues, because when you choose a candidate, that's what you're choosing them on. You're choosing them based on their stance on certain policies and certain issues going on in your country at that time. All right. So here, now I'm the moderator. Right now I'm going to talk about the current policies that we're going to cover. All right. So we're going to be talking about the coronavirus, how we handled the coronavirus, and how our potential candidate, would have handled the coronavirus and the solutions they have for us. Then we're going to talk about Homeland Security. Then we're going to talk about employment. Then we're going to talk about criminal justice reform. Then we're going to talk about our budget and spending. Then we're going to talk about pollution and green energy, healthcare, education, and there might be a couple more things in there. All right. Actually, there's going to be one big surprise in there. All right. So those are going to be the policies that we're talking about tonight. All right. So once again, this is a one-sided debate because your arrogant president feels that he or she doesn't even need to show up to even present anything, because your president is completely convinced that you will vote for them based on nothing. Based on nothing, you will show up and vote for them again. And I have enough respect for you that I want to make sure that I stand here and I present my case on why you should vote for me. And not only why just vote for me, but why you can actually hold my feet to the fire, and why I will actually provide the things that I am promising you right now. So we're going to talk about the coronavirus. And it is, in my opinion, that your current president has failed you, has failed to deliver true solutions in a time of need, a time of fear, and a time of confusion. Your current president only provided you with masks and hand sanitizers. This was the best solution that your current president can provide you with. And as I look out into the audience and I see the trillions and trillions of cells, I know that you need way more than masks and hand sanitizers. Masks and hand sanitizers, that can be a start. That's fine. That's cute. It makes some feel better. But let's really get to like the tangibles. Let's really get to the results, the solutions, the problems. Your current president had nothing to say about vitamin D, which, as I look in the crowd, trillions of cells, 95% of you are completely vitamin D deficient. And vitamin D, we know that we need vitamin D. It is damn near impossible for us to function optimally without being vitamin D. Your president did nothing at all to provide you with sufficient vitamin D. Your current president did nothing at all to provide you with the magnesium that you need. How are you supposed to contract and relax without the proper amount of magnesium? Didn't do anything about the potassium deficiency that we also have. How am I going to drive a bus if I don't have a bus and I'm a bus driver? How does your president expect the cells to do their jobs if they don't have the basic resources that they need to do their job? I want the people to know that it's my opinion that your current president, as pertains to coronavirus and their response, has failed you. If I am elected president of health for your body, I will see to it that we have ample vitamin D. The way I'm going to do that is by making sure that we get outside every day, at least 30 to 45 minutes per day, making sure that we get sun. I will make sure that we also find some form of high quality vitamin D supplementation in the case that we are not able to actually get outside, in the case that some of us actually live in areas where we don't have sufficient sun. As far as the magnesium, the potassium, the calcium, the minerals and vitamins that are so important in order for us to actually protect ourselves from this foreign virus, I will see to it that we are eating whole foods on a daily basis, and so that we can actually build up that reserve so that we can now go out and protect ourselves. And that's what I would do if I was president. All right, y'all good? Y'all good? This is an experiment. This is an experiment. Let's see how this goes. So right now, the moderator will ask questions, but we're not going to do that because I don't want to draw this thing out too long. We're now going to go on to the next policy. And so right now, everybody in the chat, y'all are playing the cells, okay? So if y'all have questions for the candidate, which is me, let me know the questions, put them in the chat, all right? And maybe we'll come back and we answer some questions. I don't have anybody cutting me off tonight. All right, so I'll moderate again. Next, we're going to talk about Homeland Security. All right, so I'm back into the presidential candidate. Your current president says that coronavirus, hypertension, and diabetes is the greatest threat to our national security. Your current president says that he or she wants to crush these issues by flooding the street, also known as the bloodstream, with harsh medications, harsh and unproven medications. Now, cells, I don't have to tell you that when it comes to this country, also known as this body, we already have a lot of conflict with ourselves and the medication force, also known as police force. And so the idea of simply flooding the streets with more medication to actually deal with these so-called threats is only going to bring us more issues, more problems, more protests, more riots, more and more and more drama. Which brings me to my next issue when it comes to Homeland Security. Our military. Listen, our military is our immune system, and I love our military. However, I have to call a spade a spade. Our military is not where it needs to be in order to be able to protect this country. Why? Because once again, our president has failed to actually train the military, to actually properly equip the troops with the tools and resources that they need. Now, we're going to talk about the military, i.e. the immune system, in a later policy debate. But I just want to go ahead and say that the real problem when it comes to Homeland Security for our body is the fact that your president is actually letting in the threats. You see, the greatest threat to our body is not coronavirus. The greatest threat to our body is not hypertension. It's not diabetes. The greatest threat to this country, to this body, is processed foods. And your president knows that. The only reason why we have these issues is because of the processed foods. And your president has made deals with the processed foods manufacturers to allow these processed foods to come in and out as it please. With these processed foods, your president has decided to respond to the response of the processed foods by flooding the streets with more medications. If I am elected president, I will severely decrease the consumption of these processed foods, which will decrease the hypertension, the diabetes, and many of the health conditions that are only existing because of the processed foods. All right. So that is my stance on Homeland Security. Y'all still there? Y'all still there? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? All right. So I see the comments coming on. Y'all keep the comments coming. All right. So let me go on to the next issue, policy, which is employment. So for employment is going to be synonymous with movement and fitness. All right, so this is me being moderator. Employment is synonymous to fitness, activity, exercise. Y'all got it? All right. Under your current president, our employment has dramatically decreased. Dramatically decreased. In fact, our employment has decreased by 80%. We haven't gone to the gym in 20 years. We're unable to walk up a flight of stairs without feeling short of breath. We can't even do a push-up because of our current president and their lack of ability to actually lead us for a walk, to lead us to the gym. This president has no intentions whatsoever on actually seeing us get up and get off of the couch. This current president actually wants us to remain on the couch, wants us to remain stagnant, all while leading you to believe that this is okay. And I'm here to tell you that this is not okay. Our lack of movement plays a large role in many of the conditions that we see in our communities, also known as our organ systems. If I am elected president, I will see to it that we have a structured workout program. I will see to it that we are actually getting up and moving every single day, even if it's only to walk around the block, even if it's only to walk around the parking lot, even if it's only to just 15 minutes of walking upstairs and downstairs. If I'm elected president, I will see to it that we actually move, because stagnation is the harbinger of death. And we cannot survive. We cannot afford to continue down this path of stagnation. We are literally allowing ourselves to degenerate by not moving. We are designed to move. And your president has convinced you that remaining stagnant and sitting on the couch is okay. Sitting is the new cigarettes. All right. Y'all still with me? Y'all still with me? All right, cool. Let's go on to the next policy. All right, so I'm the moderator again. All right, so the next policy, the next issue is criminal justice reform. I'm president again, candidate. All right, here we go. Our current president has waged war on multiple communities, also known as organ systems, while demonizing and calling them diseased, dysfunctional, insufficient. And then after he does all of this name calling and labeling, he then goes and brings in a third party authority to now label and diagnose these areas as being hypertensive, diabetic, hyperlipidemia. And you all know what comes after that. What comes after that is the heavy medication. The heavy medications flooding the streets and locking ourselves up in cells. Now, of course, we don't want these, we don't want high blood pressure. We don't want high blood sugar. But at the same time, has anyone asked these young cells why they are out there responding the way they're responding? I'm going to tell you why they're responding the way they're responding. And I'm going to tell you why your president, your current president, refuses to address the true problem. They are responding the way they are responding because the president is who he is. The president has allowed the environment to become the way it is. These cells are simply products of their environment. If you are eating processed foods day in and day out, multiple times a day, and the processed foods is forcing the pancreas to secrete high amounts of insulin because of the high levels of sugar, how do you expect your cells to respond? If you are eating food that is making your blood vessels more narrow, how do you expect your cells to respond to that decrease of blood flow? These young cells are not just going to sit there and die and allow a decrease in blood flow. These cells are going to do what they need to do in order to survive. And in many cases, that means increasing the blood pressure. As far as the insulin resistance, if these cells are already at full capacity with blood sugar and they no longer have any more room to take on the blood sugar, why would they allow them in? Of course, they're going to allow the blood sugar to pile up in the bloodstream, causing high glucose. But you need to understand that these young cells are not out there just doing this on purpose. These young cells are actually not crazy. Actually, these young cells are intelligent. They're extremely intelligent. In fact, if it wasn't for the way these young cells were actually responding, honestly, we'd all be dead. If these young cells did not have the intelligence to increase blood pressure upon stimulus because there was a decrease in blood perfusion to the trillions of cells that we have, we would be dead. If our young cells did not have the ability to down regulate the insulin receptors, which would keep out excess glucose into these cells, then those cells would die off. What your current president is suggesting is that we just take medications to ignore everything I just said. Blood sugar too high, it won't go into the cells. Just take more insulin, force it into the cells. Oh, blood pressure too high because there's not enough area for the blood to flow. Just take this beta blocker, decrease the actual contractility and the heart rate of the actual heart. These superficial therapies are also causing massive side effects that are doing us all great harm. And while all of this is going on, what is happening to the overall health of our body? We're getting sicker, and sicker. If you elect me as president, I will get to the root cause of all of this, which in many cases is the processed foods, the unhealthy habits that we have, the lack of movement, the sugary drinks, the soda, the juices. If I'm elected president, I will get to the root cause of all of these issues that we are facing. All right, what's going on, y'all? Y'all still there? I'm gonna tell you what, I appreciate y'all sitting here and rocking out with me because you know, like I said, I just thought about this and I was like, yo, let me just go ahead and jump on and do it. But I felt a little crazy. So if I feel crazy, then y'all must be crazy as well. And I love y'all. That's why I love y'all. Let's keep going. All right, I'm back in my moderator bag. We're talking about the budget and spending. So as pertains to budget and spending, when we talk about real politics, government, we're talking about money. Now, let's think about what money is. Money is stored energy, essentially. Money is stored energy. It's currency. And, you know, when we're talking about currency and energy, you see the similarities. This is what we use to get things done. So now let me get into my presidential bag. So body politics. When we're talking about budget and spending, we're talking about on the body politic level, we're talking about energy expenditure. So we all know that when we eat, we have to spend energy to break the foods down, right? This is a very resource and energy heavy process. Breaking down foods is not an easy process. It's not a light process. It takes a lot of resources and it takes a great deal of energy to actually break down the foods because we have to break the food down. We have to assimilate the food, and then we have to actually send the food out as waste. And this takes out a lot of energy. Your current president has you eating 6 times a day. And in some cases, if you're not eating 6 times a day, your current president has you eating every 2 to 3 hours. As if that is okay. As if this is going to provide us health. Ladies and gentlemen, your current president is laying in bed. He or she is in bed with the very enemies of our country, enemies of our actual body and health. And this is where your current president is pulling all of this information as far as these things being okay to eat every 2 to 3 hours, 6 small meals a day. You need to understand that when we're eating this much, we're just spending a great deal of money. We're just making it rain out there in the club. And when we turn around to use the energy for other important functions in our body, such as the immune system, such as actual repair process, growth process, we have very little energy to use because we've wasted so much energy on breaking down horrible food. It's not even great food. It's horrible food that we're breaking down. And your current president is completely okay with that. So much so that he or she has you doing this multiple times a day. Now, let's talk about the actual digestive force or the digestive system. Our digestive system is completely overworked and incredibly underpaid. We have our digestive system working from 7 o'clock in the morning all the way till 10 o'clock at night, sometimes 9, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Our digestive system is in great need of repair. Our digestive system is in great need of attention. It cannot continue to go on the way that it's going. At this rate, we won't have a digestive system in the next 10, 15 years. If I am elected president, I will come in with a plan to have us fasting every single day. Now, at first, it may seem a little extreme. It may seem a little radical. But you need to understand that we are at a point where we need radical intervention. We need radical improvement. We can no longer continue to kick the can down the road and pretend that everything's okay. Our age is increasing. The medication is also increasing. We need radical change, and we need it now. With this fasting protocol, this fasting reform that I will bring in, we will be fasting every single day at least 16 hours. With this fasting protocol that I am going to be bringing into our body, we will be having our last meal at 6 p.m. With this fasting protocol, we will not be eating first thing in the morning, as our current president has us thinking that this is the best way to start our day off. No, it's not. And he has little to no facts to actually back that up. He has little to no facts to actually back up the fact or back up eating multiple times a day is actually healthy. He has no proof, no evidence whatsoever to show that that is a healthy way of living. Ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee you that this fasting protocol that I suggest we implement will radically improve our health overnight. And if I'm president, that's exactly what I'll do. All right, Facebook, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Y'all good? Y'all here? All right, cool. Let's keep on going. I'm laughing because y'all messing with because y'all out here with me. So that's why I'm laughing, because I'm like, every time I turn back, I'm like, yo, this thing is on 28 people in here. 28 crazy people. Nah, I'm joking. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. All right. The next issue is going to be pollution and green energy. So I have absolutely nothing written. Anything. There's nothing else written. Currently, right now, we are in the midst of a great deal of pollution in our body. When we look around, we have toxins floating in the bloodstream. We have constipation multiple times per week. We have extremely unhealthy bowel movements. We have oily skin, dry skin. We have a great deal of headaches, fatigue, fogginess, and it's all because of the pollution that we are currently facing in our bodies. The reason why we are facing this high level of pollution is because your current president has sanctioned this to be okay. Your current president once again allows for the frequent eating of foods, and it's not even just the frequent eating, it is the incredibly unhealthy foods that come along with the toxins. Not only that, our body doesn't even have the resources that it needs to repair and recover, which would be the potassium, magnesium, calcium, vitamin D, the very things that I'm always talking about. And overall, I already told you that our digestive system is incredibly overworked and underpaid because of the way we're eating, because of the frequency of the food way we're eating, and because of the foods that we're eating. But not only that, we don't even give our digestive system the resources that it needs, such as fiber. Ladies and gentlemen, cells, how do we expect to have healthy bowel movements without the proper amount of fiber? How do we even expect to have proper, healthy moods without fiber? You do know why. You know why they call this your mind, your gut, your mind. Many of the so-called feel-good hormones that we talk about comes from your gut. And I'm gonna tell you what: if you have an unhealthy gut, which we do, if you're experiencing constant constipation, which we are, diarrhea from the antibiotics that we're always taking, we are going to have an unhealthy mood balance as well because of the lack of fiber that we need. And the fiber is so essential to our digestive system, and because we eat little to none of it, it's almost impossible for us to have healthy bowel movements. So if I'm president, I will see to it that we, one, like I said, decrease the pollution, which is the processed foods. I'll keep saying this: the processed foods, processed foods, processed foods. The processed foods is a huge problem, and your president over there has made deal with these processed foods manufacturers. I will see to it that we bring in whole foods that are filled with minerals, vitamins, and a plethora of fiber, the very fiber that we need in order to be healthy. I will see to it that the digestive system is able to reap the benefits of that fiber, both soluble and insoluble. If I am elected president, I will see to it that our digestive system does not have to work overtime every single night, long shifts every single night, going 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 12 a.m. These workers are not even getting home to actually see their family because they're constantly at the factory past 12 o'clock at night. I will see to it that we make sure that these workers that do so much for our body actually have a cutoff time at 6 to 8 p.m. some nights. This is what I will do if I'm president. Y'all rocking with me? Y'all rocking with me? All right, cool. Let me read the comments real quick. Good. All right. So the other policies that we have left are healthcare, and I'm just going to sit here and freestyle this with y'all because I think y'all get the point of what I'm saying. Y'all get the point, right? Once again, this is not a video about voting in the actual presidential election or not voting about it. Like I said, I don't care. I'm not that guy. You should absolutely do what you want to do. You should actually vote for who you want to vote for. And that's about as far as I go with it. All right, that's about as far as I go with it. Once you do that, okay, I want you to transfer that energy. I want us as a community to transfer that energy. Y'all know, just type 5 in the chat real quick if you see a whole lot of back and forth bickering, fighting going on right now on your Facebook, on your Instagram, or even in your house. Type 5. Is there a lot of energy right now focused on the current presidential election? And rightfully so. I get it. But just type 5 in the chat if you've seen a lot of drama. You've seen people being separated as far as their relationships, friendship, family relationship, or whatever it is. Type 5 if you've seen that. Because what I would like to see, keep that energy. That is absolutely fine. But what are you going to do in the event that the person you voted for doesn't win? Really, either or. Maybe they win, maybe they don't win. What's going to happen to your health the next day? When your presidential candidate wins or doesn't win, what's going to happen to your health the next day? Will it improve because they won or lost? Nah, because they're not dealing with the policies we just talked about. Let me run down the policies I just talked about. We talked about, all right, the coronavirus. All right, so maybe that one they may have a huge role in that one. But what about the actual PPEs? Because we talked about PPEs, right? So on the with the actual people, when we're talking about PPEs, during the coronavirus, the height of the pandemic, the PPEs were the mask, the gloves, the sanitizer, the protective covers. For your cells, your trillions of cells, the PPEs would be the vitamin D, the magnesium, the potassium, the calcium, the whole foods. These are the PPEs. Why? Because PPE stands for personal protective equipment. Your cells has some basic needs, basic things that it needs in order to function properly. If you are not giving the cells the basic things it needs to function properly, how do you expect it to function? At best, when it makes an attempt to function, it's going to be dysfunctional. At best, right? At best. Same thing with the people in PPEs. How do you expect people to deal with this virus no one knows anything about? We're not sure what's going to happen, but we want them to go out there. At best, they're going to do a horrible job of dealing with it, and they may even get sick. They may even die, right? That was the thought, right? That was the thought process behind it. And so there was this huge outcry, rightfully so, about the lack of PPEs for the people on the front line, the healthcare workers. And it made sense. We all were on board with that for the most part. I don't really think anybody was like, nah, they don't need no PPEs. Nah, for the most part, everybody was on board. I want us to get on board with giving PPEs for ourselves, because in order for ourselves to protect us from coronavirus and any virus, look, any virus, influenza, anything, just being healthy in general, you need those PPEs, okay? So the PPEs are going to be your vitamins and minerals. The PPEs is going to be the vitamin D, the walking, the water, your family. Like, these are your protective equipment that you need, your personal protective equipment that you need, okay? So once again, when it comes to those PPEs, the vitamins and minerals and those things, your candidate winning or losing, how will that affect that policy, that issue for you? It won't. Your presidential candidate is not going to come down and feed you kale. If they do, take a picture and let me see it. All right, send it to me, and I promise you I'll post it up on my somewhere. But I don't think they will. So at the end of the day, we can chew gum and walk at the same time. Keep that energy over there. Go ahead, do what you're going to do, but transfer that energy over here as well too, to the health, which again, I say it matters the most. The next policy, Homeland Security. I told you, the Homeland Security, the greatest threat to our body, Homeland Security, is processed foods. Processed foods, and I would also say medications. I know it's not a popular opinion, but I would also say medications. But definitely for sure, processed foods. Your candidate winning or losing on Tuesday, how is that going to affect that policy specifically for you? Are they going to bring on an onslaught of whole foods to you? Are they going to clean out your pantry? Are they going to coach you on how to eat healthy? Nah, they're not. They're not, right? So they have things that they're going to do that you elected them to do. But as far as your own body politics, the things that are actually going to affect you directly in real time, that is on whoever you choose to be your president for your health, your body. All right. Employment. Like I said, employment for us is going to be the movement. They're not going, they can't make you, they're not going to come up with a workout plan for you. They're not going to the gym with you, right? They're not. So this is something that you have to choose the right president for yourself to actually make you do these things, because you can do them. You can find some way to come up with a quick workout plan or strategy or some type of healthy habit, even if it's just walking around your neighborhood every single day. The person you choose or you have chosen is not going to do that for you. Same thing with criminal justice reform, which in our case, when we're talking about body, we're talking about the way we treat ourselves. We're talking about how we treat the way the cells respond to the unhealthy foods, the unhealthy environments, the high blood pressure, the type 2 diabetes, the hyperlipidemia. We looked at those things and we say that these are not diseases. These are actually adaptive mechanisms. These cells are responding this way because it was designed to respond this way in the midst of adversity. if you have 60,000 miles of blood vessels, and along somewhere along that path, you have blood vessels that become stiff, and they start experiencing restriction. What do you want the body to do? Like, what do you want your cells to do? Just tap out, give up, and start to decrease perfusion to the trillions of cells that are waiting for blood? Or would you like your cells to respond by increasing the blood flow, by increasing the blood pressure? Because that's what it's going to do. And so when we go and look at these quote unquote chronic conditions, or these chronic diseases, you're going to look at every single one of them. And if you're looking at them from a way of truly trying to understand the problem, because now let's talk about real politics or real society. These folks who quote unquote can't solve the problem, it's because they get the problem, but they want to pretend that they don't know the real problem. Like, we don't really understand why y'all the way y'all are, even though we understand society, even though we flood your communities with drugs, even though it's like we don't really want to deal with that. We want to pretend and start to deal with the superficial issues and address it from there. And so when we start to deal with the actual root causes of our problems in our bodies, we're going to start to look at them and say, oh, this is why my blood sugar is high. It's because I just drank 18 cans of Coca-Cola. That's why it's high. If I don't drink the soda, the juice, eat the processed foods, it won't go up. Oh, my blood pressure is high because I actually smoke several times a day. And it is a natural response for my cells or for my blood vessels to actually vasoconstrict. This is why it's high. And so when we start having enough respect for ourselves, and understanding that they're responding the way they're responding for a reason, until we start doing that, we're not going to see the progress. But when we start doing that, we are going to see radical improvements. And once again, whoever you vote for won't have anything to do with that. That's something that you have to do yourself. So I hope I made my case for you to essentially vote for you. All right? That's pretty much what it comes down to. If you are saying that you truly want to be healthy, which I believe a lot of you want to be healthy, you have to really see how serious you are about that. Because it's one thing to say, it's another thing to truly mean it, right? And so if you truly want to be healthy, then you need to go down and look at these issues that we talked about. And I'm sure there's more issues, right? But by addressing, you don't have to go through and try to address every single issue that we talked about, but by just going through and picking one of these issues to address and finding a solution to actually implement, you're going to get results. And so you should run your body the way many of us are looking at politics right now. Like, we're looking at them, the government, everything like that, to bring us solutions and improve our lives and our health. You should see yourself as the president. You are the president of your body. You are the president of the trillions of cells that you have. What type of president are you? So you all voted, right? So everybody voted, I'm assuming you have a presidential candidate that you are kind of leaning towards, and you have a presidential candidate that you just don't like. Let me ask you a question. If I ask your cells which one you were more like, who would they choose? Your cells gonna say you Trump or you Biden? Which one? Are your cells happy with you? And granted, if your cells can actually say that, yo, we're trying, like, we're trying, we're putting in work, yeah, we fall down, we're not perfect, but we're trying. We actually set goals. We actually have started drinking more water. That's all I'm talking about. That's all I'm talking about. And so at least we have to be working on something. We have to be trying every day. We have to be trying something. I'm not saying you're going to wake up every day and be perfect and get all the stuff right. But I'm just curious, how would your cells look at you? Are your cells happy with the job? Are your cells happy with the current presidential candidate that's in place right now? I don't know. That's a question that's an answer we all have to answer individually. Either way, we can make the decision tomorrow, starting tomorrow, to actually do better. We can make the decision to actually vote for a new mindset, because that's what it's going to come down to. No, you don't have to like switch souls or switch spirits. Like, no, of course not. But the mindset, you have to vote that old mindset out and bring on a new regime. Bring on a new mindset. And if your current cells are very unhappy with the current president that is running your body right now, and you don't get that mindset out, that president out, be careful, because your cells will eventually revolt. In nature, I know with people, you know, we kind of twisted the rules a little bit, but in nature, you know, there's only so much things are going to take in nature of being pushed around before it retaliates. All right, it's only so much. You see it with animals. You can have a chicken that knows damn well it cannot beat this fox, but if that fox try to eat her little chicks, oh, she gonna fight her behind off. So I'm just saying that to say this, that your cells are only going to take so much abuse. Processed foods, it's abuse. A lot of the medication that we're taking, it's abuse. The lack of movement, it is abuse. And when your cells try to voice their issues with you, their lack of satisfaction with you, by sending out signs and symptoms, right? The signs would be the protests, all right? And then if you don't listen, what start happening? They start rioting. They start burning things down, because apparently you don't understand what I'm saying. I told you, yo, my knees hurt because of the weight we're gaining. Yo, I told you I'm unhappy with the food you just ate because we're going to the bathroom. At first, it's going to be a nice, peaceful protest. But if you keep ignoring your cells, they're going to ratchet it up. They're going to start burning things down. And if you don't listen to them, eventually, these cells are going to overthrow the body, overthrow the government. And that's when we really get problems, like true problems. So I am pleading to you on behalf of the trillions of cells out there tonight, that you actually listen to the cells, that you actually do better for the cells, and that you actually make that mindset shift, that paradigm shift, and decide to come up with the actual plan and policies to do better, because we all can do better. And once again, the foundation of everything I'm saying is all out of love. I love us. I love our community. I love our history. And the reason why I do this, you know, the way I do it, is because we have to do better, you know, not just even for us, but for the future generation to come. We just have to do better. We can't leave a legacy of disease and sickness. We can't, right? And so the children are watching us, our nieces and nephews, you know, everybody's watching us, you know, the younger ones are watching us. And if they get the feeling that pain and suffering is the norm, then this is what they're going to expect that to be the norm as well too, right? And we can't leave them that legacy. We have to show them that health is our birthright, and that's why we have to share health is our birthright. Our cells need to know that health is our birthright, because the cells already know that. That's why they push back. You see, our cells, look, our cells are in its right mind. Our cells understands that, yo, we're not getting the blood flow. Do whatever you got to do to get the blood flow down here, even if that means increasing the blood pressure. Do what you got to do. Our cells are in its right mind, and our cells want better, and that's why our cells are not afraid to let you know that it's unpleased or unhappy with you. All right, that's why it's not afraid to make you pass out. It's not afraid to make certain things on your body hurt. It's not afraid to give you headaches. It's not afraid to increase blood pressure, make you urinate, make your stomach hurt. Like, it's not afraid to do those things, because it's trying to let you know how unpleased it is with you. And so Your cells respond that way because your cells have not accepted the idea of sickness being your birthright. Your cells have not accepted the idea that what it is getting right now, it is supposed to get. What it is getting right now just runs in the family. What it is getting right now is its actual birthright. Your cells reject that. Your cells reject it. That's why the blood pressure is going up. That's why the blood sugar is going up. That's why it's doing all those things, because it rejects every single one of those things. And in its form of rejection is the very signs and symptoms that we see. It's like, nah, man, I reject that. I'm not dealing with that. But be wary of the day that it actually accepts it. Because if it accepts it, then that means we're most likely no longer living. That's what that means. And so we have to take on and embody. I mean, this is weird because it's like I'm inside and outside, but we have to take on the mindset of ourselves. Your mindset is extremely confident. Your cells understands that health is its birthright, and that's why it fights back so much. And we have to take that on as well too, as the conscious being, the president of our body. Health is your birthright. We're not destined to be sick. We're not supposed to be sick. Your creator or who or whatever you believe did not send you here to deal with hypertension and medications. That is not the natural process. Your president, your current president, allowed that to become the natural process. Your current president lied to you and told you that these things run in your family. Your current president lied to you and told you that these foods were okay. It's fine. We're going to be all right. All right. But I'm here to let you know that it's not all right. And if you keep going down that road, you're not going to be okay. There will be consequences. And if you don't respond to the cells in a proper amount of time, they will revolt. They will revolt. Even if that means them revolting and dying, they're going to go out with a bang. That's just how it works. So that's it, y'all. That's the end of the presentations. Let me read the comments. Let me read the comments. Oh, there's a lot. All right, actually, it's not that much. All right. Ellen, say you love the t-shirt. All right, cool. Yo, if you like the t-shirt, go ahead and get it. The link is in the description. Health is my birthright. That is the slogan. That is what we're pushing around here. We have to get rid of that toxic mindset that these things just run in our family. It doesn't. It's the unhealthy eating habits. It's the lack of movement. It's the drinking. That's how we get those things. All right. So health is your birthright. Anything else is abnormal. What's going on? All right. Let's see. What questions do we have? What questions? I'm working on making that change down. What's going on, Brenda? Ellen says, I need to join your program. Yeah, so the Fast Life 20-day program, we may be looking at doing another one around, I have to still talk with the squad, the team, but most likely beginning of the year, January. Keisha, what's going on? You're helping us. Much love for the knowledge. Yo, appreciate you as well, too, sis. Appreciate you well. Ella says, I'll make her laugh. I don't even know what I said. It's domestic violence towards our body. Yeah. And so, civil war, cellular war. Yes, like constant high blood sugar levels. How many milligrams per the supplement you suggest? Joan, which supplement are you talking about, Joan? Ellen says, I love your broadcast. I appreciate it. Thank you. Ellen says, the scale feeling me. I'm not sure what that one is. Brenda says, how much vitamin D should we take per week? Okay, so Brenda, it all depends on where your current vitamin D levels are. I know a lot of people don't know their current vitamin D, but most likely if you don't know your current vitamin D level, you are most likely deficient. So what I recommend, I did a video. So Brenda, do me a favor, once we get out this video, go to my search videos and go to vitamin D. Just type in vitamin D. You're going to see I did a video. It's not that long. It's like 30-40 minutes. But I go through how to do your how much vitamin D you should take based on your weight, based on your age, and also, the labs you should probably get. And it's pretty much just an in-depth talk about vitamin D. But just in general, you can start off with 1,000 international units per day. You know that we do have vitamin D. Like I said, it is the best vitamin D out in the market. Of course, I'm biased, but why would I put out low quality products? But I definitely recommend vitamin D. And look up that video. If I find it once I get off, then I can repost it. But yeah, definitely you should get some vitamin D. And we sell vitamin D as well too. All right, all right. Post your information to order products. Yeah, so I'm horrible at marketing. I need to get better at actually letting people know I have products. So check it out, y'all. If y'all want to support the movement, one way is by getting the shirt. Health is my birthright. Also, many of you know that my new book is out called Done with Diabetes. Let me grab it real quick. Done with Diabetes. Done with Diabetes is 5 simple strategies to reverse diabetes, get off medications, and avoid complications in 90 days. I love this book. I love this book. I did a video the other night, last night, doing a question and answer about the book, talking about what's inside the book. But the book does have a 90-day plan as far as how I recommend you go about implementing, fasting and everything else to actually reverse and prevent diabetes. Check out the book. The link is also in the description. The link for the shirt is also in the description. And also, if you want a health consultation via Zoom, that link is in the description. We're also giving 50% off the consultations right now. So usually it's $150 for a 30-minute phone consult. We're doing $75 for a 30-minute phone consult, and that also includes an additional Zoom consult 30 days after to make sure that you're able to implement the plan and that you got the results that we talked about. During those 30 days, I will, of course, be in contact with you. You will be in contact with me. And it's a great deal. Great deal. Because I don't know if you ever had a coach like me in your pocket with the expertise on the fitness side, nutrition side, but also with the health side as well, too, dealing with diabetes and all these other things. But I would definitely recommend it for anyone who is trying to improve their health, but you're just uncertain, or you lack a little motivation, need some fire. I can help you out with that. All right, no problem. Thank you. What's the link to order the t-shirt? So the link is in the description. The link is in the description. Once I get off, I will go ahead and repost that as well too. But the link is in the description. All right, vitamin D, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. Yeah, those are all important. All of them are important. I highly recommend that we make sure we have that coming in every single day. All right, those are extremely important. Those are your PPEs. Some of them. There's a lot. All right, fam. So listen, I appreciate y'all. It's late. I need to go check on the kids. Once again, make sure that you check out the policies, the issues that we talked about, and I want you to vote. All right, I want you to vote for Health 2020, and I would love for you to vote for yourself, but yourself as within a new mindset that is based on health. All right. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Remember, this is our community, our responsibility. We have what it takes. We just got to put in the work. All right. So I'm gonna holler at y'all later. All right. Peace.